We have a simple tool right here. Let me delete that, I don't need it anymore. That is the font. If you need any fonts, basically you create your fonts right there, whatever you want to type, okay? And then what's really cool with that is that you can make stuff bigger. Alright, you can select your font right here and you can change them up. Alright, bigger for example. Alright, change the color right there. Alright, change bold or not. Okay, change the type of type font you have. Alright. By the way, in video game, most of the time, unless there is a special constraint by the gameplay or the game story, you want to use what's called modern fonts, not classic fonts. Alright, not fonts that you see in a book or but fonts that you see mainly like on the website, modern types. Alright. Now you have a bunch of options, obviously, you guys, right here, which is spacing of the font itself, of the letter itself, sizing and so forth. There's a lot of things that can be done. Alright, now it's on auto kern, it's the kerning basically. You can align the center, right align, left align, justify in the middle. Alright, you guys, align center. Basically you have all those options just like in regular type of things. Okay, now that's the font, so that's pretty easy to do. Now after that you have shapes already pre-done. Alright, so we have a line, and if you select that line right here, you're gonna see its option at the bottom. Okay, by the way, depending on CS3, CS4, CS2, there's a little bit of changes in the actual window user interface. Okay, this is a classic setup right here, but there's different setup you can do. It depends on what you want to do, you guys. And that's you. I do classic stuff because that's what I'm used to. All right. Now, what's very interesting in the line tool. Let me make a line, you guys, right here, and I'll make another one right there, another one right here, and it's pretty cool. You can do a lot of shapes like that. First of all, you can change the color and the size. All right. But one thing is that let's go back to that. You select. That's the really strong points of vector graphics, you guys, is that everything can be changed after. In bitmap and raster, when you've done something, changing it after has consequences. Okay, you can erase, you can change stuff, but it's not as clean as when you do it the first time for a lot of things that you want to do. For example, changing the color of that line. You can do it in raster, but it's not as great as vector. In vector, you select that line, you go to the color, and you change the color, and that's it. You're done, and it's perfectly changed to that color, and that's awesome. That's one of the really strong points of it. Now you can change the size of it and go for 3, and it will change it. Alright, you guys, let me make another line. It will change stuff. Now a very cool stuff, see 10 for example right here. Alright, you guys, and it'll change. It's cool, and you can still do what I was telling you, modify it like that. Okay, you can still do that, or you can go modify it with the anchor. Alright, you have to transform them just like I did, told you earlier, and then you can change your spline, basically shape, which is very useful. You can still go back to your shape and then decide to be 1, change it to 1. Okay, so that is huge, frankly. Okay, another really cool stuff is that, let me make it bigger so we can see it. Man, I got my head spinning big time, too many medication. Shush. Basically right here, if you select on the solid option right here, you have all the type of lines that you can have. It doesn't have to be solid. It can be like, like that, and look at that. Now you have a nice little, noisy edge for that. That's really cool, but it's very well done. It's extremely clean, you know, in its look. You know what I'm saying? Because it's done by the computer. It's a vector. It's a math formula. So it's very, very clean. All right, you guys. For seamless texturing, it's pretty cool. All right. So you have a lot of options in those lines right here. Okay, and that does a lot of things. I like that. Now, a couple of things that can be done is your shape. You know, another shape you can get next under it right here. Okay, let me see if I get it. You can custom it. Okay, by changing thickness of the point, for example. All right, you can change if it's dashed, dotted, ragged. You know, ragged. Sorry. You can change the size of all the things, and that's huge, you guys. Alright? It's just a huge advantage, you guys. You can have sharp corner or not. See sharp corners? Right here. I like that a lot. This is an option that I really like, that I don't have in bitmaps, in raster, that Vector does, that is fairly cool. Let's keep it this way. Okay? Now, let me delete that. Now under that you have more shapes, okay, that are rectangles, oval, rectangle, and that's a rectangle tool, rectangle primitive tool. I'll have to look into the defaults, frankly, for that one. Polystar tool, and so forth. Let's do a simple rectangle tool for now. You have, if you select the rectangle tools, you have a couple options, all right, which is basically right here, the pen and the filling. The pen is the contour stroke, basically, and the filling is the inside color. Sorry. Let me put a pen that is very visual, black for us, and a filling that's cool. Teal is cool. Teal was cool. Well, actually, let me go back to that. Teal is a cool color. All right. Now, if I make that right here, look what happened. I've got a dotted line, a contour that is exactly what I tell him to do, dotted, black, and I got the inside that is the teal story. Alright, you guys? So, and that can be modified, both of them, meaning I can go select just the middle right here now, alright, as its shape, change its color. Alright, and I might be able to actually add. No, it doesn't let me do it because it's already done by that one. Yeah, it's done by here, sorry. So now, I can select just the back contour, alright, you guys, and say, you know what, change that to pinkish. And now we get it pinkish, alright? Or change the dotted line on the top to a solid line, but not the side one. And now I can still do my special tool right here and modify it like that, and the inside stay filled. That's huge. I don't have to redo anything. It's very quick. It's very well done. You know, it's very efficient. Now, there's more shape. There's the oval. In the rectangle, still with the rectangle, you guys. Sorry. That's the corner's radius right there. The little thing right here will give you a corner radius, basically. Okay, you guys, and that can be changed. Right now it's locked. But that can be, you know, which is locked, but that can be changed. You can unlock it and do whatever you want. You know, and change some of the parameters of it. Okay? Let me reset that. Okay. Now, let me save that. Any questions? No? Okay, let me save that flash for you.